morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Acampo, California. Well, today's verse is Matthew 5:11, and it says, "Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." Well, doesn't that sound delightful? Yeah, this is quite the slap in the face, and literally as well. And this is really hard for us to take. How in the world is that a blessing? This sounds awful to me. Later we'll read in the end of chapter 5 that we're to love those who persecute us and bless those who curse us and to do good to those who treat us unkindly. So how is that even possible? Only through our love relationship with God. That's the only way that can happen. Now it says, "Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you." What's this blessing? How is that possibly a blessing? The answer is, I don't know. But sometimes it happens without our knowing it. For example, the book of Job. In Job, God says to Satan, "Hey Satan, have you seen my servant Job? He really loves me." Satan says to God, "He doesn't love you. He only loves the stuff you do for him. You take away that stuff, he won't love you no more." And God allows Satan to take away his stuff, his wealth, and later his health. And even though he's being terribly, terribly persecuted, Job never curses God, never gives up his love relationship, even though he doesn't understand it. And the whole rest of the book is a poetic discourse on Job basically trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. But it was God bragging to Satan about Job. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't we love that? I'd love that, sure. Now back to our main verse. It says, "Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you." Let's look at a cross-reference here. And that will be 1 Peter 3:9. But to give it some context, I'll back up one verse. It says, to sum up, all of you be harmonious, sympathetic, brotherly, kind-hearted, humble in spirit. Now the main verse, not returning evil for evil or insult for insult, but giving a blessing instead. For you were called for the very purpose that you might inherit a blessing. It's very much human nature for us to want to pay back an insult for an insult. Everyone wants to do that. But this says don't do that, okay? Be a blessing instead. Again, the only way we can really do that is through our love relationship with Him. It's just something that humans really can't do on our own. Also, I'll show you, this doesn't say that we're going to be free from persecution. And any doctrine that says you'll have wealth and health and no persecution is flat out wrong. Now back to our main verse. It says, "Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." Now in last week's verse, and I have the reference right up above, I suggested that sometimes I've been persecuted not because I've been a good Christian, but because I've been a jerk. And sometimes I deserve that. But this is talking about being falsely accused and so forth because of Him and my relationship with Him, because of being a good Christian. That's where the blessing is. Now, a cross-reference here is Luke 21, 12 through 15. It says, "But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you and will persecute you, delivering you to synagogues and prisons, bringing you before kings and governors for my name's sake." That's terrible. "But it will lead for an opportunity for your testimony." That's where God can shine through us. "So make up your minds not to prepare beforehand to defend yourselves." Boy, we want to defend ourselves if people say false things about us. We want to say, no, that's not true. But think about Jesus Himself. Even in His mock trial, He kept silent. And they were beating Him and they were crucifying Him. And He kept silent before them because He knew God was going to defend Him. He didn't need to defend Himself. And verse 15, "For I will give you utterance and wisdom, which none of your opponents will be able to resist or refute." Finally, remember that God doesn't need us to defend Him. We need Him to defend us, and He will. And that's why I say if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a good week.